Hey guys, and welcome back to Beauty in the Bookcase, where we take a book and we make a look. Our next play for Theater Month is Euripides' Medea, a play about womanhood, revenge, and betrayal. So born in a place called Salamis, Euripides was best known for his tragic plays. Only he, Aeschylus, and Sophocles' plays have actually managed to fully or almost fully survive the test of time. Euripides is actually credited with having created the trope of having mythical characters portrayed as normal everyday people, but in extraordinary circumstances. So this play starts off with Medea having a mental breakdown, relatable, because her husband's new wife has banished her and her sons from Corinth. Now, once she actually manages to compose herself, she is immediately driven by a strong desire for vengeance. So she decides that it's time for Blaqe and Jason, ex-husband and his new wife, to pay for what they've done because Medea's mama ain't raised no bitch. Now, Medea is known around Greece because she actually has powers, like getting the golden fleece powers, okay? This woman is powerful. Now, she decides to strike a deal with Creon, who is Glaucus' father and the king of Corinth, to let her stay one more day before her banishment with her children. So Creon, being an idiot, allows it, and after securing a new home in Athens, Medea gets her plan started. As a way to get her revenge, since obviously Medea can't go interact with her ex-husband's new wife because that would be weird, she sends her kids over with a present, and Jason is like, wow, my ex-wife is being super chill about this now. Go Medea. But he's wrong because he's an idiot as well. So Medea, like I said, having magical powers, decided to put a type of curse on this gown and a coronet, a crown that she sends with the kids, and this ends up killing Blaqe and her father. Of course, Jason's not too happy about this. So he's gonna go and yell at Medea, but by the time he actually gets to her place, she's actually killed her kids. Now I know, killing your kids, not great. Looking at you, Casey Anthony. But essentially the reason why she does it is because she's concerned that once everybody finds out, because news spread fast in ancient Greece apparently, they were going to kill her children. So as a way to protect them, she ends up killing them before the enemies can kill them. Kind of messed up, but whatever. And in her defense, she does end up taking the corpses and riding away in a chariot led by dragons. So, how can you stay mad at her? Now, obviously, if there's anything this play is known for, is for revenge. Shocking, I know. And honestly, her pursuit for revenge as a way to sort of balance the scales of her life is something that has really stuck with me since I first read this play a few years ago. And, it's really simple to just look at her life and just write her off as a very cruel character for what she's done. However, before really making any judgments, it's super, super imperative that we look into her life to see what led her to making these decisions. Now, Medea and Jason actually originally met because she helped him steal the golden fleece. He needed the golden fleece in order to become like a king or something. And he is incompetent and couldn't do it by himself. So instead, he partnered up with Medea, who used just her general knowledge of the area as well as her powers to help him get the fleece. And as they ran away, she made a deal with him and she was like, I'll help you if you marry me and to get me out of this town. And so on their way out, they actually end up having an altercation with Medea's dad, and they also end up killing her brother. So obviously, you know, Medea is not welcome to the family dinners anymore and she can't go back there. So, you know, Jason kind of becomes her ride or die because she's obviously disowned after that. So, of course, you know, when you've like sacrificed your relationship with your family and, you know, done a lot of stuff to help your man get where he is, and he goes like, haha, just kidding, you know, I'm not into it anymore. I'm gonna leave you for this other lady. That sucks. And it sucked even more, I think, because it wasn't like Jason was like, hey, I fell in love with somebody else and I'm leaving you. But instead he's like, hey, I have an opportunity to be more powerful, to sort of like go up in like nobility ranks or whatever. So I'm gonna leave you for this lady because she can make me kind of more relevant, important, I don't know. Essentially, she had more power and he is overly ambitious, to say the least. So, of course, not only being left by the only person she kind of has left, but also being exiled from her new home and just overall being in a really uncomfortable and unfortunate position, Medea decides to like go on a rampage and like murder everyone. Although she doesn't murder Jason, which has never made sense to me, but that's a topic for another day. So of course, after she goes on her little rampage, she realizes like, well, I can't, you know, I obviously have to leave. Duh. Just murdered the king, and the princess obviously won't be welcome here anymore. But, you know, she realizes like, well, what about my kids? She's put them in quite the predicament. And this is, of course, why she decides to kill them. Now, it seems absolutely insane. It's kind of like, why don't you just take your kids with you? But to her, you know, this was more of like the right, I don't want to say the right thing to do, but in her mind, this seemed like the merciful thing to do. She knew that like, it didn't matter where she went, her powers and her reputation were gonna follow her. So she wanted to spare her children from any negative repercussions that could come their way because of them being her children. So that's why she kind of goes on and murders them. So moving on, whether you agree or disagree with Medea's methods, there's no doubt that Medea's knowledge kind of, and just her power and all that, you know, fun stuff, kind of poses a threat to the men around her, including Jason and just the people of Corinth. Everyone who knew her, they kind of feared her, but they also judged her as somebody who had to be, you know, evil or something. Something had to be wrong with her for her to be so knowledgeable and so cunning and powerful in her own way. Now, the sad thing here is that Medea is very much trapped in a masculine world. A world where she's intimidating because she's not subservient and quiet. This does end up making her a target for suspicion because people didn't go like, oh wow, Medea's so cool with her powers and her intelligence and her cunning. Instead, they went like, this woman's gonna put a curse on me or something, so I gotta run away and stay as far away from her as possible. And while, yeah, that belief was kind of confirmed to an extent by how she ended Blaqe and Creon's life, you know, if you didn't cross her, you'd be fine. That's not a very nice thing to say, but it's the truth. I don't think she was like inherently evil. We never really see her sort of putting this rage before her until, of course, she's lost Jason, and then everything, you know, all hell breaks loose. Now, if there's one thing that I find really interesting about just like the reception of this play and the plot in and of itself is that we get this anti-heroine who's often criticized by her thirst for revenge, but in reality, if there's one thing Greek plays are known for, it's their desire for revenge. I mean, come on, Achilles literally tied Hector's dead body to his chariot and just rode around with him on the back. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed that scene, but if we're gonna talk about like crazy people doing weird things for revenge, you can't leave Achilles out of there. Now this of course made me wonder, is Medea's behavior only shocking because it came from a woman instead of a man? Or was it because, you know, it was the murder of her children instead of like, you know, an enemy at war? But here's the thing with that though, like there was a lot of like patricide and matricide and, you know, in Greek plays, they loved killing their family members. I don't know why, but they sure did love to do it. So, you know, the murder of someone's relatives isn't that odd in, you know, in this world. So is it just because they were children? Or is it really because they just weren't ready to see a woman take on such a role? Now, I also read the argument that the reason why people maybe are so shocked by Medea and why it seems so easy for her to kill her kids, which I disagree with, because we literally see her the entire play struggling with deciding whether she should go through with it or not. But, you know, a lot of people, not a lot of people, but I did read a paper that said that the reason why it seems so easy for her is because she was more fulfilled in her role as Jason's wife than she was in her role as a mother to her children. And again, I have to disagree. I don't think Medea's identity came directly from either motherhood or marriage. I think her power and her identity came very much from being a woman, and in that being a woman that was so different from the other women of the time. I genuinely believe that Medea did care for her children. That's why it was such a difficult decision to make, but why she also made it to protect them in her own way. Yes, she obviously put a lot of stock into her marriage to Jason, but I believe her identity was in her uniquely radical womanhood. She loved that she was smart and cunning. She was feared because people were afraid to revere a woman the same way that they revered a man. The key to Medea's madness lies in her womanhood. She felt scorned as an intelligent woman, feared instead of venerated like male heroes, rejected by the love of her life, and exiled into foreign lands. Medea's revenge and power come from her asserting her own dominance as the true leader of the household. Her actions are in direct contrast to all who reject her. They can take nothing from her because her power is within her. So what's it all about? At its core, Medea is an oddly feminist play. Although we do fall into a deep madness with her, there seems to be a method to her madness. Medea has always been used for her intelligence or her powers. She's used to it, right? But at the same time, people have always attributed her greatness to evil, having nothing left to lose after losing her home and her husband. She clings to the power that womanhood gives her, a power deeply nestled in cunning and vengeance. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to leave a comment letting me know what you think about my analysis or if you have your own theories about Medea. Also, make sure to leave a like if you like this video and subscribe so that Medea doesn't put a curse on you. And definitely be sure to hit that notification bell so you know exactly when I upload on Wednesdays and Sundays. I do apologize because I have missed 2 Sundays, but I'm gonna try and get back on track. Life has just gotten busy. But thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time.